Family skipped everything, so I didn't invite them to my wedding. My older brother Austin played travel baseball from age 12 until college. Every weekend was a tournament somewhere. Every conversation at dinner was about his batting average or some recruiter who might have watched him play. Mom lived for it. My high school graduation landed on the same day as Austin's regional tournament. Mom told me at breakfast that scouts would be there and Dad would go to my ceremony instead. I asked if she could come to mine and Dad could go to the game. She looked genuinely confused, like I'd suggested something impossible. She said a mother needs to be there for the important moments. I graduated with my dad in the crowd 40 minutes late because he had to close the pharmacy first. College was worse. I was the first person in my family to get a degree. Sent the invitation in January for a May ceremony. Mom put it on the fridge and told her book club how proud she was. In April, Austin's team made nationals in Florida the same weekend. Mom called saying they'd already booked the hotel and Austin needed their support because he was in a slump. She asked if I could walk at the winter ceremony instead. I said no. She said they'd try to make it work. They went to Florida. I walked across that stage with empty seats where they should have been. My roommate's mom came down from the stands and hugged me after because she felt bad. I locked myself in a bathroom stall for 20 minutes. Met my fiancé Troy in grad school. When we got engaged, I planned a small party at an Italian place near campus. Sent my family the invite 6 weeks out. 3 days before, Mom texted asking if we could move it because Austin's girlfriend was having a last-minute baby shower. I said we'd already paid the deposit. She said they'd stop by for a bit. They never came. Mom texted the next day saying the shower ran late and they were exhausted. Troy asked about inviting my family to the wedding. I said no. He pushed back because he's close with his family. I showed him 6 years of texts. He stopped asking. I invited my dad, who'd divorced my mom 2 years earlier. Invited my Aunt Rachel and 2 cousins I actually talked to. That was it. 2 months before the wedding, Mom called. She never calls. Started talking fast about what color dress to wear and whether the ceremony was indoors. I cut her off and said she wasn't invited. She laughed like I was joking. When I stayed quiet, she went silent. Then she said I was being dramatic. I listed every event she'd missed. She interrupted saying those were important for Austin's future and I was selfish for bringing it up. I hung up. She sent 40 texts that week. Said I was destroying the family. Said people at church kept asking about the wedding and she had to lie to them. That last part clicked. She wasn't upset about missing the wedding. She was upset about looking like a bad mother in front of her friends. I blocked her number. Austin texted saying I was stressing Mom out and she had high blood pressure. Blocked him too. The venue had a gate at the end of a long driveway. Troy's parents hired security because his cousin does local TV and they were paranoid about crashers. Halfway through the reception, the security guard found Troy. They talked quietly, and Troy's expression changed. He came over and leaned down to whisper that my mom was at the gate with Austin, his girlfriend, and their baby. She was refusing to leave. I walked out there in my wedding dress. Mom was standing by her car holding a wrapped gift box. When she saw me, she started crying and said I looked beautiful. Said she was sorry and just wanted to be part of my special day. Austin stood by the car looking at his phone like he wanted to disappear. I told the guard she wasn't on the guest list. Mom's tears stopped instantly. Her face went red and she said she was my mother and didn't need to be on some list. I said she needed an invitation, which she didn't have because she'd spent 6 years showing me I wasn't a priority. She started yelling about how I was humiliating her in front of Austin's girlfriend's family. That's when it hit me. She'd brought them as props. This whole thing was about proving to some strangers that she was a good mom. It had nothing to do with actually caring about my wedding. I turned around and walked back inside. The guard told her to leave or he'd call the cops. I heard her screaming from inside the venue while I was cutting the cake with Troy. She finally left after 10 minutes. Dad called me the next day saying Mom had phoned him sobbing about how I'd destroyed her at my own wedding. Said she told everyone at church I'd banned her from coming. Half the family thinks I'm cruel. The other half said she earned it. I haven't spoken to her since. Don't plan to.